Good evening, 8th grade. We are going to talk about solving linear equations using graphs, chapter 4.7. So today in class we talked about the importance of using a straight edge and graph paper and showing your scale when you graph equations, because sometimes we need to look at the graph and try and figure out other aspects of it, like the x-intercept that we're going to talk about today. So there are 3 steps in solving linear equations using a graph. So first, we would write the equation in the form ax plus b equals 0. A and b being integers and leaving x as x. After you do that, you write the related function as y equals ax plus b. So remember, we're doing the function, so that's when you have your y equals. And then last, we would graph the equation of y equals ax plus b. So really what we're talking about is the solution of ax plus b equals 0 is the x-intercept of y equals ax plus b, because all we're doing is putting y equal to 0. And when we do that, that is the x-intercept. But let's do some examples to reinforce this. So our first example is solve negative x minus 3 equals 0.5x algebraically and check your answer graphically. So first what we're going to do is solve for x. So in order to do this, we write the original problem, add x to both sides, and then divide both sides by 1.5 in order to isolate x, and we find out that x equals negative 2. So now it says, well, let's check this example. So now we have to follow our steps above, the 1 through 3 steps, to check it. So first, to check it, we write the equation in ax plus b equals 0 form. So negative x minus 3 equals 0.5x. So what I want to do is I want to get all my x's on the one side and make this equal to 0. So I subtract negative 0.5x to both sides and I get negative 1.5x minus 3 equals 0. Then I write it in my related function. Y equals negative 1.5x minus 3. Now today in class I discussed fractions. Now I want you to now convert your negative 1.5x into an improper fraction, because you will see we need this as our slope. So negative 1.5x is actually equal to negative 3/2 x. So our new related function is y equals negative 3/2 x minus 3. And now we are going to graph the function. And so with this above equation, we know that our slope is negative 3/2 and our y-intercept equals negative 3. So let's look at the graph. Here's our graph on this side. And I say my y-intercept is negative 3 and my slope is negative 3/2. So that means I go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's negative, so I go to the left over 2 and I plot my point. And if I wanted to, I would do another one, up 3 over 2. And you can see right here, I find my x-intercept as negative 2, 0. So my x-intercept is negative 2, and that's what it said in the first place. So here, x equals negative 2. So that is true. Let's do another one. Solve negative 5/2 x minus 1 equals 9/2 x graphically. So first, I'm going to write it in ax plus b equals 0 form. So I subtract 9/2 x from both sides. I get negative 4/2 x equals negative 1 equals 0. Negative 4/2 equals negative 2x minus 1 equals 0. Write it in the function form. Y equals negative 2x minus 1. And if I were to graph this, I know my slope is negative 2. My y-intercept is negative 1. All right. So now, based on my graph, so now this is what I have to graph, and I have to figure out what is my x-intercept. So here, negative 1, and then up 2 over to the left 1 because my slope is a negative 2. Again, do a couple points, draw my line. Now right here I can see, well wait, it's right in between 1 and 0, negative 1 and 0. So it looks like my x-intercept is negative 1/2 0. So I would go back and I would say, let's check this. The way I'm going to check it is by substituting. So wherever I see x, I put in negative 1/2. So you can see 5/2 times negative 1/2 minus 1 equals 9/2 minus 1, negative 1/2. So negative 5/4 plus, and I change my negative 1 into a fraction so I can add them easily. So negative 5/4 plus negative 4/4 equals negative 9/4. That is a true statement. So I know that my x-intercept is 1/2, and so the solution is this. So there are two other examples in the book that go through the same process if you need to look at another example to kind of review it. But then additionally, to make sure you guys understand this, I want you guys to do number 1 through 10 on page 253, which is just general, putting things in function form and explaining kind of your notes to make sure you understand it. So good luck, and I will see you tomorrow.